It seems like every time I run into you, you're doing something to better yourself as a teacher. And I love how when you started talking about that, and you said you went to the exchange conference, you realized you needed to change something or you saw something you needed to do differently. And often as teachers, we get stuck in a rut. We think, I got it. I was taught this way, I'm going to do it this way, or this is the way I like it. Of course, any teacher and any subject could become stagnant, but it seems like math really could. I don't know if stagnant's the right word, but it's just math. Math is math, right? Well, I'm guessing not in your class. So what would you say have been some of the biggest influences in your math growth as a teacher? Like, how do you keep moving forward? It's math, right?
Yes. To go back to this idea that we teach what we know, and that does get very dangerous. Because I remember when the first concept of student-centered learning, I was like, well, that's egotistical. That's selfish, like all my biblical counseling words coming out. Because I was very traditional. I went to school and it is very teacher front.
Right.
Oh my goodness, it needs to be student-centered. If it's a ministry for them,
Right.
it needs to be student-centered. Okay, back to your original question. Okay, let me introduce you to a woman named Jo Buller. Jo Buller is a teacher at Stanford University. She's not a believer, but she has stumbled on God's incredible creativity and glory in his numbers. She does this question, I think it's like 18 times 5. And she asks 5 or 6 different people, how would you solve this? And there are 5 different ways of getting to 90. Well, when I first saw that, I was like, oh, no, don't you just like get a piece of paper out and put 18 or 5 and put it underneath here and carry the... No, there's halving and doubling. We can half the 18, which is 9, and double the 5, which is 10, up 90. We can, it just the flexibility, that's the word, the flexibility of numbers. And I would say there's a flexibility in the learners. And if I just say you have to do it this way, which is my way, we're not robbing God of his glory and his creativity of humans and his world, which I was. I didn't realize it, but I was. Another influence was our school was getting accredited. And so Christian educators had to take philosophy of education. Well, I didn't have to take that course. So to get accredited, I needed to. And I took a course on philosophy of education. And really, because I knew I was just teaching math, really, I focused on that side. And I just saw God's glory there. Okay, that gets me excited about math. And there's this other book, Revealing Mathematics. And I might be getting ahead of myself.
That was great.
But there is a quote in this book of, okay, Katie, what changed? Why do you love math now? Because of things like this. Math only works because it describes consistencies that God holds in place. Math testifies of God's faithfulness. Math is overarching message of one of trust and dependency on God. Okay, that can help a student in math class, not just Bible. You can rely on that 1 + 1 = 2 because we have a faithful creator God who created this.
Enjoyed this short clip? That was just a sneak peek into a full episode on the Teacher Edition podcast. We are passionate about supporting Christian educators like you. Looking for more inspiration and practical strategies you could use today? Subscribe now wherever you get your podcasts. Brought to you by BJU Press.